95 or higher percent of people that come in to have pictures taken tell me how much they hate having their picture taken. I'm like, I'm not a dentist. It's really not so bad. I think just doing something that I love is huge. I can't imagine doing anything that I didn't enjoy. And I think I feel most successful when my clients are satisfied and that they have pictures of themselves that they absolutely love, especially when they tell me how much they hate having the picture taken.
Welcome to the Great Work of Your Life interview series. I'm here today with Ms. Valerie Bogle, who can be found at shootwithflourish.com. And what's interesting about Valerie is she's been on both sides of the camp. She served as a model and also as a photographer. And most importantly, and this is what we'll talk about today, she deals directly with confidence on a daily basis. I already hear more about. So welcome, Valerie.
Hi, thanks. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Would it be okay if I shared a little bit about your background before we got into some questions?
Sure, of course.
Perfect. Okay. According to your bio, Valerie, you have modeled for Coca-Cola, Dorado Hotels, Bright House Networks. You've worked with multiple ad agencies as art director, doing photo shoots and branding work for clients like Celebrity and Royal Caribbean Cruises, Toyota, Lincoln Financial, Buffalo Wild Wings, Publix, and even Marriott Hotels and Resort and their sub-brands. And for the past 9 years, you've been doing what I love to call, and you love to call, magazine-style photography. And as a client, I can totally attest to your work. And I think we talked about this. When I needed a headshot, I reached out to trusted advisors in my network. And the first two that came back gave me your name. They both did. They both gave me your name. So and I looked at your work, it speaks for itself. And I have to say, the photo shoots, an absolute blast. And I have people ask me all the time, who did your photos? So I have another referral for you today, by the way. But what I learned in getting to know you was that you really are on a mission to build confidence through the art of photography. And it truly is the great work of your life. So do you mind if we start with two kind of intro questions 1 and 2? What gives you energy, Valerie? And what drains your energy?
What gives me energy, I think, is having downtime to myself. I'm definitely more of an introvert than an extrovert. When I'm with clients and friends or whatever, I can have fun and whatever, but then I have to re-energize alone or with my husband or something relatively quiet. And traveling is huge. That just totally refuels me. So every chance I get, I like to figure out a way to do that. Although, of course, it's been a little harder lately, but it's definitely something I love.
You, Charles, just curious, if asking a baker, do you bake? Do you bake at home? So you take pictures when you're traveling?
Yes, the entire time. Thank God I have a patient husband. He's actually gotten to the point where he's starting to take pictures because this would be a great shot. He joins in the fun, or I'm like, hold on, let's stop. Can I take pictures of this? And he'll sit there and wait patiently, thank goodness, because I'm like, I don't know that I would be as patient. With me, it'd be good. But yeah, so I take a lot of pictures. A lot of times I think I'm going to, which I just started implementing during this whole COVID thing, is to have stock photography available. I've been building a library of that over the years and am only now just starting to do something with it. So, but yes, I'm always taking pictures.
I see that. And you do it all. Your virtual background looks amazing, by the way. So you do those. And can you tell us more about the social media library where you do building shoots?
Yeah, what I do for clients, so it's a little bit, I do a couple of different types of shoots. One is a branding shoot, which is very involved, and it's learning more about the client's company and their goals and where they're using images. And are we shooting in their office and different locations? Are we shooting with staff? Are we hiring models, doing wardrobe consultations, doing sets, the whole deal, lighting setups, retouching and that. So that's for the branding side. On the social media stuff, it's definitely more down and dirty. It's me. I show up with my camera. There's no art direction, no lighting, nothing. It's just have an overview from clients of things that they might want me to at least notice. And then I'll pick up all the other little details. So clients that are like experienced type of clients, whether it's hair salons, med spas, hotels and resorts, restaurants that have a lot of things going on, are really good clients for that, because there's so many things I can pick up, and I can just be capturing just tons and tons of details that will then inspire them for social media messages or ads or whatever. So they start building a library of images that they can just pull, and they're not constantly, oh, I want to do a post and what am I going to use for my image, and trying to figure that out. They have stuff they can just pull from.
Yeah, that's good. It's so much better than stock photography.
Yeah, and it's unique to them. So it's not the same thing everyone else is using, and they get to have their people in the picture. People relate to that. So yeah, it's fun.
The big questions. What do you love the most about your work, and what do you like least about your work?
So most, I think, is seeing people come out of their shell and gain more confidence, whether it's personally or professionally. I would say 95 or higher % of people that come in to have pictures taken tell me how much they hate having their picture taken. I'm like, I'm not a dentist. It's really not so bad. And then by the time of course, hair and makeup is a good relaxing time. And then once we start shooting and I'm able to show people a couple of just snapshots on the back of my camera, it's suddenly, okay, I look good. I have this, and the nerves calm down and whatever. So that's cool to see that, okay, they can have fun and see that they can look good in pictures. So that is something I love. Something I like least is that I might overthink things, and weathering the prep of things, just being a perfectionist and not wanting anything to slide. So I'm constantly like making sure every little thing is where it's supposed to be, or on the retouching side of things, it needs to be a certain way. So that can probably be too much sometimes.
One, and they say that our greatest strength is our greatest weakness. And when you look through your materials, if you become a client of Valerie's, I have an attestation. You get this wonderful it's like a little magazine before you arrive for your shoot. It's a couple of pages, it's color, it tells you what to expect. It tells you how to first share. It shows the fridge, the mother post she's done. And it really, really gets you excited to come to the shoot. And you talk a lot about finding the perfect spot to meet your goals. You believe that details are exceedingly important. So it's both a strength. They say our greatest strength is our greatest weakness as well. Yes?
Yeah, I can see that. Like, it's important. And I think that's what makes the pictures sometimes is good or better than what you're hoping for, because I'm trying to pay attention to all those little things. But yeah, I can maybe take it too far when I'm trying to get it perfect.
Yes.
When I'm usually the one that notices most.
Yes. As we often do. This question. So when did you have a moment when you realized that this was the great work of your life? When you realized that you knew this is what you wanted to do?
I don't know that it was a moment, because I've been around photography my whole life. I reconnected with a childhood friend a couple of years ago that I haven't seen since like 4th grade. And I always remember that you always had a camera and you were taking pictures. I didn't even remember that it went back that far. So it's been involved with all of the different parts of my career when I was doing art direction and design, where I was either hiring photographers and working with them, or I was modeling on the other side. So when I got out of design, I figured, because I do love it so much, that it was something that I could do for a career, because I would enjoy doing it. Whether it's the great work of my life, I think I talked to you about this before. I'm not sure if this is like the thing or there's still more to come. I know God uses it, and I have such a love for travel that it's such a passion of mine that I keep thinking, how do I make those things go together better, where I can still do photography and travel as well.
It's interesting that it harkens back to when you were young, that even in your bio, I'm looking at your bio now, you have actually in capital letters that it was clear during your whole life and career that in the center of it all, what you enjoyed the most, in the center of it all, the camera. if the camera was a touchstone for you. Yeah, neat.
Yeah.
Do you ever have doubts or freak out moments about the work that you're doing?
Yeah. Just on a regular basis. Yeah. Every shoot can be a little stressful. Probably the least stressful are the social media shoots because I'm not shooting people or like I'm not directing people or any of that. Or even the day in the life shoots where I'm with families behind the scenes while they're just doing things and I'm doing editorial stuff. That's not so bad. But like I was talking about earlier, the details and thinking, I just always want to get the most I can get in with shots. And because of my background as a art director, I have this super over ambitious shot list that includes models and props and different lighting setups. And when the time comes, oh my goodness, how are we going to get through all of this? And is it all going to come off? And so anyways, it can be a little stressful. Yes. But once you get things going, it usually just moves along. And of course, I always want to make sure I'm exceeding expectations or delivering it at a minimum on what I promise. Yeah.
So you're detail-oriented, you're results focused. So question number 7 is quite pertinent. How do you define success, Valerie?
I think just doing something that I love is huge. I can't imagine doing anything that I didn't enjoy. And I think I feel most successful when my clients are satisfied and that they have pictures of themselves that they absolutely love, especially when they tell me how much they hate having the picture taken.
Oh, yes. And I felt like to clients gushing, including ours truly, where they just can't believe that was them in the photo, for sure. I noticed in your bio, you've definitely always been drawn to the creative side of things, but I noticed that you have an affinity for women and girls. Like, for example, I see that you are a volunteer for Girls International, a ministry that focuses on encouraging women. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I wish I could encourage people to become part of it, but they recently dissolved. But it was such a wonderful organization that really focused on inspiring women, elevating women, like helping them focus on the things that God has for them and just centering yourself on the Lord instead of worrying about all the stuff that we can get caught up in. So I just, my extent of volunteering with them was usually I would do a lot of the event shoots just to capture what was going on so that they would have stuff that they can use. And then there's another part of their organization that they were working with teens and mentoring them. So we did a photo shoot to help promote that. But really great organization. It was around for probably at least 10 years. And it's interesting because I've met several men as a result of that has spawned off in multiple relationships. And I think there's a few people, myself included, thinking, how can we continue that a little bit and maybe on a smaller scale because it became a pretty big thing. But so, yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. So if you had to do it all over again, what would that look like and why?
If I had to do it all over again, I think I would figure out sooner, and not to say I have figured this out yet, how to duplicate myself so that I'm not working quite as much. And that's something I'm actually working on now because I'm getting older and I can only do so much so long. And I want to be able to travel more and do some other things, see my husband. And so I'm not him that I need to come home. Yeah. Got it.
How about your superpower? You spend 10,000 hours. What would you say is your superpower? What are you best in the world at?
Holy moly. I don't know that I'm best in the world at anything. Yeah, that's a tall order.
I would argue that.
I think I know too many other people that are as good or better. There's always people better. So it's hard to say I'm best at anything. I think just trying to be better, just to constantly improve. I spend a ton of time on the computer between working with mentors and learning the next thing or how to, whether it's improve my branding or get better, even better at retouching and all that stuff. So it's a lot of computer time.
Yeah. And I noticed on your profile, you're learning German or you have learned German. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I love, because I love to travel, obviously, I think I enjoy traveling out of the country more than in the country. And not that we don't have beautiful things to see. My husband's, I think the next trip we plan needs to, like, we need to see our own country, which I get. And so that made me think, what is it that I like? Why don't I want to do that as much as I want to go other places? And I think I'm so intrigued by different cultures, and they're eating different things. They do different things. They speak a different language, which is exciting. And I like learning languages. So German is one of many that I've attempted to learn. So I know a little of several. So it's just confusing. And when I try to, someone speaking a different language that I may know a couple words of, I'm always like, which one is the right one? I've got all these different things going through my head, but it's fun. So German's probably the one I've spent the most time on. Because we exchange.
What is the app called? I saw it on your LinkedIn profile. What is the app called that you use?
Duolingo.
Duolingo. That's it.
Yeah, it's super simple, like very basic elementary that you have pictures that you can start to identify what the words are. And then you hear them say it and you say it. It actually identifies whether you're saying it right or not. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, good. Couple of fun questions. Is there anything you wish you were better at?
Writing, like creative writing, I think for fun, but even more so for my work, whether it's just communicating things in a way that is compelling and even funny. Like I wish I were funny. I'd like to make people wow. Yeah. So like myself probably more. I think I can be funny, but
like it. Interesting. And people think you're funny. Hi, number 11. What do you know about yourself? To
be absolutely true. Is that what you said? I think I can find beauty in anything. So especially in people, but even in my surroundings, I say that because my husband has said on multiple occasions, you just see things differently. Like whether it's the clouds or the way the tree is blowing, or women that he might think, I don't know what you're seeing as beautiful. They're just a normal, average looking person, but I see past that. And yeah, so I don't know. I think that's probably the one thing that I am confident knowing that I can see.
Yeah, and it shows. And I know I've recognized from just looking at from your work, we love to customize sheets. You like to create storyboards. That's really your jam, right? Is to create that fit positioning so folks can shine in their natural environment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So here's a fun one. I can't wait to hear the answer to this. What would people be surprised to know about you?
So I was quite a tomboy. And in many ways, I think I still am. I always thought boys had more fun. So it was more fun to do boy things than girl things. And so as a result, I ended up getting a Toyota 4-wheel drive pickup with 33-inch super swampers on them, and went mudding and listened to country music, and had a 3-wheeler that I would drive around. Yeah, most people don't know unless they were with me at the time.
I would have absolutely no idea if it's like the epitome of glamour and elegance. That's awesome. We want to know what inspires you. Can you share a book and or a favorite quote that inspires you to think or behave differently?
I'd have to say it's probably the obvious, and most common is the Bible. I spend more time reading that than I have anything else. And it's certainly a place to refer to with how to live life and how to think about things. And so I've read multiple books on different self-help stuff, and I'm currently like listening to a few things on Audible and just more like business related things. But the go-to is the Bible. As far as a quote, there's a few that I like and that I think are relevant to what I do too. One is be somebody who makes everybody feel like a somebody. And then do something today that your future self will thank you for. And then one that I found that I hadn't really heard before, but I thought was pretty powerful, it says, it's by Mark Twain, or at least that's who got the credit. A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. And I'm like, wow, that says a lot.
Doesn't it speak of that confidence thread, the confidence thread that kind of weaves through the fabric of your life and your career too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I found a quote on one of your pieces. Do you mind if I share it? With the quote here, I really love it. I think it speaks volumes with you. It says, I'm a full-time magazine photographer with a designer's heart and an obsession to help people love who they are and create confidence in you and your business. Your images bring your story to life, and I'd love to help you with it.
Yes. Yep. That sums it all up for sure.
Yes. Valerie Bogle, ladies and gentlemen. I have one last bonus legacy question, if I might. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go there?
Yeah. Not off the top of my head.
I'm so excited to have you on this call. So the legacy question is, it's a fill in the blank. And if you wouldn't mind repeating it and filling it in. And it goes like this. God would let me, I would. And God could be whatever, however you define it. It could be God, higher power, spirit, time, 0 point field, Allah, Buddha, you name it. Just something, beyond yourself. If your God would let you would. What would you?
First, I probably feel like I need to identify my God as Jesus. And I would say if God would let me, I would travel the world with my camera and my husband, learning as many languages and cultures as I could, eating my way through the whole time, and of course, documenting it all as I went along.